So check that beauty out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Little baby quad. Absolutely gorgeous tricolor that we're growing up. But you guys either have your first crested gecko or you're wanting to get your first gecko. And you have some questions as far as drop tails. Does a drop tail truly affect your crested gecko? What to expect as a keeper versus a breeder? Let's dig into it. Hey guys, what's going on? Will here, Flawless Crested Geckos, coming to you guys again with another video this week. And today we're going to talk about drop tails, the frequency in which it happens, reasons on why it happens. Again, our channel is directed not only to business-minded, driven breeder side, talking about different projects, but as well as the common keeper as well. So it's part of our job to put out a lot of information as we see fit, as we experience, as well as try to put out some educational content. Now, we've received a lot of questions when people come by a booth or via message or email, and a lot of people want to know about as far as drop tails. Why does a crested gecko drop their tail? Well, in the wild, it's a defense mechanism where it will keep waggling once it's detached, and hopefully the predator will go after the movement from the tail and allow the crested gecko to get away. Now, in captivity, barring they're not being hunted down by any cats, there's really no predator. We're kind of facilitating every aspect of their life. That being said, you would think, okay, well, you should have less drop tails. Well, I want to talk about this from the pet keeper side as well as the breeder side. There will be no kind of end all be all as far as, geckos aren't going to drop their tails. It's going to be a case by case basis. I can actually count on 2 occasions out of the thousands and thousands and thousands of crested geckos we've hatched where we had 2 where literally straight out the egg they threw their tail. Now that doesn't even amount to 0.5%, and you're going to have some variables thrown in there. Some of them are going to be keeper and handling issues, errors on our part as humans, as their caregivers, carekeepers, and others are just going to be, hey, they're just going to throw their tail. We've had situations where we've had beautifully bioactive grown out enclosures, and you walk by an enclosure and they decide they're going to throw their tail. You've had those situations where you go to feed them and they've thrown their tail. So there's literally no rhyme or reason a lot of the time in captivity. Now, I will go as far to say that there are certain precautions you can take in trying to prevent them from throwing their tail. When we're taking photographs, when we're doing video, we've kind of started, I guess, speaking gecko, but they have 1 or 2 things when it comes to them throwing their tail, especially with the males. They'll start getting that twitch and making those weird noises and kind of really snappy with their necks and heads, and that's basically saying that they want to breed. They'll start biting you pretty much after that, and then at other moments they may be flighty to the point where, you know, you get them to calm down, start feeling comfortable, and they'll get this weird abnormal tail waggle. If you've seen the getting ready to drop my tail waggle, you will definitely never forget it. In those situations, we tend to put those geckos back into their enclosures and we leave them be, and we give them more handling time throughout the week, throughout the evenings when they're, you know, more up and doing their thing, doing their gecko thing. But you guys needing some assistance with your crested gecko breeding programs, well, check out our Patreon. We've been running it here now for pretty much close to 2 years. Everyone's been extremely excited. We keep adding new perks every time you guys turn around. We give away Xanthics, we give away high whites, we give away lily whites. We actually upgraded this year to we're giving away over 12 geckos every single year. That averages out to at least a gecko a month, and we've been doing over that. So you are not going to want to miss becoming a part of the Flawless Crested Geckos Patreon family. There's two tiers. There's a $50 tier and there's a $100 tier. You get all your funds back in the form of Flawless Crested Gecko savings account. You can take advantage of having 5% additional off by being a Patreon member, as well as having year-round free shipping. You guys are not going to want to miss this, so go head over to patreon.com/Flawless Crested Geckos. But this video is very important because you have people that's getting into the hobby and they don't know that Crested Geckos can't regenerate their tails. They don't know that frog butt Crested Gecko, which is the nickname for a tailless Crested Gecko, it does not devalue them or harm them on their day-to-day quality of life. So again, they're in captivity. We're caring for all their needs, but again, when they throw their tail, it's one and done. But again, it doesn't change how beautiful they are. As they get older, they can, really start to kind of calm down. But even older geckos drop their tails. Here's a fiery red, beautiful gecko we're going to do a diamond series on how bright it is. But as you can see from this little one, they can drop their tail even really small. So again, it doesn't matter whether they're tailless or with their tail intact. As I show out Goldie here, they're still going to be absolutely beautiful, and they're going to have their own unique personality. So we also have Tiramisu here, beautiful empty back girl we have here, just moseying along, absolutely beautiful laterals. I wanted to show you those geckos to show you that it doesn't matter that whether they're tailless or their tail is fully intact. It doesn't affect how beautiful your Crested Gecko is. It doesn't devalue them as a keeper versus a breeder. It doesn't have, you don't have full control over whether a Crested Gecko drops their tail or not. You can do things when, again, you're seeing it firsthand, again, tail waggle, or they're, showing breeding behavior. There's also a small percentage of us that breed where, hey, when they're breeding, they tend to throw their tail during the breeding process. That can happen. But on the other side of the coin, on the keeper side of the coin, did you realize you can be a keeper, you can not breed at all, and those very same geckos can still have the potential to drop their tail. So put this video out there because there's a lot of the time, especially in captivity, there can be no rhyme or reason. For instance, we always get very kind of afraid during the holiday time, like July 4th or New Year's, with all the fireworks. We've heard stories of, July 4th fireworks, firing off and people going to go check on their Crested Geckos and getting a handful of drop tails. Knock on wood, we've never experienced that, even during, the 4th of July or, the first of the year, the New Year's. We've heard a lot of people that get drop tails when they're moving from home to home, changing locations. We haven't experienced that yet because we really haven't moved, but we do travel to shows and we still haven't experienced that. So we want to put it out there. If you kind of been picking your brain on what you can do to fix a potential problem you may have, maybe, it was just your time that, you have 50 geckos, 25 geckos, and 2 to 5 of them just decided to drop their tails all around the same time. Don't think you're doing something wrong in your keeping, your standards, or your husbandry. It just might have been your time to lose tails. That's kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But hopefully you found this video insightful. If you've already known all this information, comment down below what's been your experience in the time of your keeping. But it's Will, Flawless Crested Geckos, and we out.